In this video, we're going to discuss how to graph linear inequalities if our inequality is in standard form. And in this case, the x and y are both on the left side of the equation, or inequality, and we're going to graph using the intercepts. And so we're going to follow the same steps that we were just discussing in slope-intercept form, so let's review those. First of all, the line that we graph is going to be a boundary line, and it needs to either be solid or dashed. It's going to use the same rules. Again, those rules are the same as an open or closed circle on a number line. And step 2 is to shade one side of the boundary line or the other. You can pick any point that is not on the boundary line. And we want to see if that makes the inequality true. If it is true, then we would shade that side that that point came from. If that point is false, that's the area you do not want to shade, and we'll shade the other side. I love, again, to use the point 0, 0 because it cancels terms out and it makes it very easy to use. So we're going to look at 3 examples here. The 3 examples we're going to look at are 4x minus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 16. That's the first one. Let's just go ahead and start there. So we're going to graph this the same as if it was an equation. We'd want to find our x and y intercepts. Remember, to find the x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y and simplify. And so if I plugged in 0 for y here, I would divide both sides by 4, and I know that my x-intercept is negative 4. So I'm going to grab my point here and drag it over to negative 4 on the x-axis. And then if I have my y-intercept, I'm going to have negative 16 divided by negative 8, and that is going to be a positive 2 for my y-intercept. And now this is greater than or equal to, so I will have a solid line that I graph with. And now the choice is, do I want to have I want to shade above or below? So I'm going to test the point 0, 0. So I'd say is 0 minus 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x, plug in 0 for y. This whole side changes to 0. And that's why I like testing that point. And I can test 0, 0 as long as the line doesn't go through that origin there. So is 0 greater than or equal to 16? It is. And so that means that 0 is true. So I shade that side. Okay, all of these points are true. For number 5 here on this sheet, or the second example for this video, again, this is in standard form. To graph, I'm going to use intercepts. Intercepts come from plugging in 0 for the opposite variable because I'm on that axis. So if I find my x-intercept first, I plug in 0 for y. So then 30 divided by 15 is 2. So my x this time is a positive 2. And then I have 30 divided by negative 10, and that gives me a negative 3 for my y-intercept this time. And then my line is going to be dashed because this is a greater than, it's not equal to. So I have a dashed boundary line. So these values here are not included, and I'm curious then, do I want all of the values above or below this line? So I need to test a point. Again, my line's not going through 0, 0, so that's the easiest point to test. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x, plug in 0 for y. It makes this whole side turn into 0. So is 0 greater than 30? It is not. So 0, 0 is false. And so I'm going to shade this side down here. Third example, negative 2x minus 6y is greater than or equal to 6. I'm going to find my intercepts. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3 for my x-intercept. And 6 divided by negative 6 is negative 1 for my y-intercept. And now I'm going to use a solid line because it's greater than or equal to. And that is my boundary line, which is so all these ordered pairs are being included. The question is, do I want all of the ordered pairs above or below? And so I check again 0, 0. Is 0 greater than 6? It is not 0. So this is the side that 0, 0 is on. It is false. So I'm going to shade the other side. So again, that is an example or 3 examples of graphing inequalities that are in standard form. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show you all of the work that I talked through out loud. So in case you want to jot this down on a piece of paper and then go back up and try those inequalities again, you can watch this video again if you'd like to. Remember to ask me questions if you are having any trouble with graphing inequalities.